Hello, let's talk about Nepitella. Nepitella is something you probably haven't heard of before. I certainly hadn't heard of it, before I started Farm.One, but it's actually one of the first crops that we wanted to grow because to me it sounded exciting. It was something that I'd heard of as I did some research, but it's certainly something you'll never come across in the grocery store. You won't come across it at most restaurants even, but it's something we grow now. And if you look at this guy in front of me, this is a youngish Nepitella plant. I would say this is probably about 4 or 5 weeks old. It's part related to the mint family, so it does grow and it spreads relatively well. But what's also great about it is it produces these tiny little delicate pink and purple flowers. There's also a white variety, there's a bluer variety as well. And it's lovely because all of that minty, oregano-ish herbal flavor is going to come out in a tiny flower as well as in the leaf. So if you're a chef and you want to make impact and aroma on a plate, you can use a little tiny flower to do this. We've seen this used in a very beautiful way at 11 Madison Park by Daniel Hum, created on a very precise sort of square rectangular form, and then dot, lots of these tiny little Nepitella flowers. Really, really beautiful. And you'll notice the plant with the leaves, again, if you're going to harvest this, you could try cutting down at the node, which can help this plant to branch out. But you'll get these nice little soft, very soft leaves with tiny little hairs on them. And what will happen is the moment you touch this, you're going to get that beautiful, minty, fresh aroma. Something that, it's a Tuscan herb natively, so part of Italy. Part of Italy that's known for some different dishes really than you would find in your sort of classic American Italian restaurant. So their dishes often are more earthy. They'll use mushrooms a lot, maybe like wild boar they'll go for. So there's sort of more kind of gamey flavors, that kind of thing. And this is where Nepitella can taste really, really good. So you can match against these more savory flavors in a mushroom dish, for instance, with a sort of minty, oregano-y kind of flavor. And then I would say using these brighter, more delicate flavors for more of a dessert, for instance, goes great. Strawberries and mint, strawberries and Nepitella go fantastic. Little ice cream Nepitella as well. But I could totally imagine this being used on a fish dish as well, and lighter dishes anywhere. So this is Nepitella. In terms of growing the plant, you can grow this from a seed. You can take cuttings. We'll start to grow it out in the flood and drain system here, which is where we start out all our young plants, and then we'll transplant into a deep water culture system to grow out and really flourish. And when these plants get big, they get really big. They'll get lots and lots of these strands, lots and lots of these flowers. It can be a really attractive plant to have in a garden or in a plant pot as well. And the final thing that I think is really fun to use this for is in teas. So you can use a lot of these fresh herbs in a teapot, and actually you don't need to do anything. You don't need to dry them, but you can make a really beautiful fresh infusion. So we'll match this with things like fennel, like anise hyssop, like a blue spice basil, for instance, and you'll get a beautiful fragrant tea that if you have a glass teapot as well, it'll just be so beautiful in front of you on the table. And if you have guests over, it's just a really special way to enjoy tea, and you'll get that delicate infusion of these minty flavors, maybe paired with an anise flavors, maybe paired with a lemon balm flavor as well. So tea is this way that you can use these plants in a really, really special fashion at home. So one of my favorite things, I love it, I really want you to try it, it's Nepitella.